Okay, so welcome everyone to this support call. And let's see who we will have today here. But like always, this is a support call where you can ask for assistance, ask any questions, share any gains, or we can do group releases. And you can suggest a group release if you don't want to have personal assistance with me. So the floor is open. Does anyone have anything they'd like to ask, share, or suggest a group release about? If not, then I will be leading a group release first and we'll see what happens. So let's do a group release on about wanting to control the world. I don't know about you, but I definitely have noticed again during today that there are so many things I would like to control. And the world doesn't seem to be going the way I would like it to go. So I think we can always do with a little bit less of wanting to control the world. So let's start. First of all, just let yourself pause and be. And then let yourself think about this day or this week. And notice if there's anything that's coming up, anything that you would have wanted to be different, any person, thing, event, anything in yourself, something that isn't the way you would want it to be. And just notice all the thoughts, feelings, memories, pictures and sounds that might bring up. And just allow all of those things to be here, have their spin, like they were in a carousel on top of your head or inside the head. And just let them spin. And then notice if there's any wanting to do anything about that thing, wanting to change how that thing is or that person is, wanting to change the fact that you want to change it, wanting to figure out why you are still wanting to control or change that thing, or wanting to figure out why that thing just doesn't go the way you would want it to go. And notice if there are any other ones present, wanting approval, wanting safety, wanting oneness or separation. And just allow all those ones to have the space they need. And then, as best you can, could you let go of all that wanting as best you can? And then let yourself think about that thing again, whatever it is that you would want to control or change. And could you notice if it feels personal? And could you allow it to feel as personal as it feels? And then could you let go of wanting to take that personally? Could you let go of wanting to make it personal? As best you can. And again, notice that thing that you would like to be different. And notice if it brings up any sense that you know how that thing should be, that the way it is now is somehow wrong. And then, as best you can, could you let go of believing that you know how that thing should be? And could you let go of wanting to be right? As best you can. And could you be open to letting that thing be as it is right now? Even just a little. And could you let your resistance towards that thing to be as it is this moment? And could you grant that thing the right to be as it is right now? Which doesn't mean that that thing wouldn't change for the better. Which doesn't mean that you couldn't take action to make it better. But could you just grant that thing the right to be as it is this moment? Because it is how it is this moment. And then could you grant yourself the right to be and feel as you do, as you are and as you do this moment? And could you be open to that thing unfolding much better than the mind might imagine this moment? Could you be open to it resolving in a way that you can't see it, but which is good and beneficial and working for everyone involved? And if that brings up any doubts or thoughts that that's not possible or that's not realistic, just notice all those thoughts. And could you let them go? Would you let them go? And when? And could you open up to that thing, whatever it is, to unfolding in a way it does? And could you open up to yourself being fine with that unfolding? Being able to cope with it, live through it, live with it. And could you be open to that thing unfolding even better than you can imagine this moment. And if there are still any doubts or hesitations, still any wanting to change that thing, still any wanting to control the world, as best you can, could you let go of wanting to control it? And would you? And when? And what if the world doesn't need you to control it for it to go round and round? What if you could just relax and let the life take care of itself? And could you notice it is already doing that? All right, good. So, how was that? Did it bring up any thoughts or questions? Any sharing? So, now the floor is open. If you have any questions, if you would like to have some assistance, or maybe suggest another group release. And you can also write that in the chat if you want to. Romana.
Hi, Katja. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
This was wonderful, this release. But I keep noticing that I still kind of try or want to control my business.
Yes.
Like how how because I keep investing not just time and effort, but also money in it, and it's like not kind of there when I want it to be.
Mm.
And I try to go with what is, but it's still there. Some trying to control it or guide it in a way, it's like it's my only income,
Mhm.
only main of income. So it's kind of, I know I cannot control it, but I still it's kind of like
Yes,
so some help with that with
yes, of course. That's very understandable. We all, especially if it is the only income, we definitely want to it to go to a certain way.
yeah
Yes, but like you have already noticed, wanting to control it doesn't actually do much.
yeah
So, could you just notice all the thoughts and memories and expectations that come up when you think about your business?
yeah
And could you notice if the expectations are negative or worrisome?
There's like a pressure.
Mm.
I'm putting myself on a pressure that I have to do this. I have to,
Mm.
even though logically I know I can, but it's the feeling that is kind of pushing me in the yeah this pressuring. That's if I don't like do enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's that feeling kind of guilt and pressure and resentment and kind of like it's mix of everything. Like, yeah, I should do better,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and then I know that my body goes with the flow, so I cannot force myself. That's the other part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to exhaust myself, but it's like I know that this resistance is just another layer
Mm-hmm.
that that is coming up to be released, and it's um that I'm going to the next level, if I may say so. Yeah, but it's just kind of like I'm noticing that I, instead of just going through this, or just accepting what is, or just releasing on that, I kind of like procrastinate and my focus go elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm kind of like all over the place instead of going with what I should have done. And I know should have, it's just another one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
what just coming up. Yeah.
Mm? Yes. So could you welcome that whole story?
Yeah.
And could you welcome how that feels personal?
Yeah.
And could you welcome all the sense that since it's been that way, that it will continue the same way?
Yeah.
And could you let go of expecting that to happen?
Yes.
And then could you notice if there's any sense that you know what you ought to do for your business to be successful on a daily basis?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And could you be open to the possibility that whatever you are doing each day could be exactly what you need that day?
Yeah.
And if you are doing each day exactly what you need to do that day, is there any reason to feel blame for not doing something else?
No, just my mind trying to force me to motivate
Yeah.
me like in the past. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So could you thank your mind for trying to help you?
Yeah.
And could you ask it to support you in noticing everything that is already going well, of all the things that you have done?
Yeah.
And could you be open to allowing the business to unfold effortlessly?
Yeah. I would like that. Yeah.
Yes. And could you be open to hearing your intuition, being guided and hearing your intuition of all the steps that need to be done, if there are any, each day?
Yeah.
And now, when you think about your business, what is there now?
That pressure on my chest kind of subsided.
Good.
It's still like energy moving, but it's
Yeah.
not so much like force I have to.
Mm.
Um, it's still like a little fear if I totally release this control, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
What will happen
feel
then?
that I will be out of control. It's weird.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yes, yes. So could you welcome again that story the mind has created?
and there's a sadness, a lot of sadness there.
Mm. So could you welcome that?
Yeah.
And then, as best you can, could you let go of trying to keep yourself on a very tight leash?
Yeah, I just realized that my whole life I kind of was forced to control everything, even by my father, who was very controlling. And so I kind of um, don't know how to fully trust,
Mm-hmm.
not to just and even I got a glimpse of surrendering and allowing, and it was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still some part of me that has this break on and trying to uh
Yes, it's very understandable if you've had it for most of your life. So could you just notice and be thankful, grateful you've noticed that?
yeah, yeah,
And could you be kind and gentle with yourself in releasing that old habit?
yeah.
And if you were really kind to yourself, how would running your business look like?
Listen more to myself, and I would respect my rhythms.
Mm, yes. And could you be willing to do that as best you can?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm going all in.
Good, good. And would you allow yourself to be novice in taking these kind of steps in your business as well?
Yes.
And could you allow yourself to get excited about more more gentle, um, more kind way of running your business that's following your own rhythms?
Yeah, I would like more fun and joy in it. Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. And
Yes.
more lightness, because I think I become so rigid and responsible too much, like this
Mm.
responsibility and pressure, that I forget to enjoy um
Mm.
in everyday,
Mm. Yes.
activities. Yeah. Not just business, everything. Yeah, it just, and I would like that back. I would like that, because when I was in that flow, everything was easier, everything was
Mm.
lighter, everything was more in the flow. Yeah.
Mm. Yes. So would you open up to noticing and following that flow some more?
Yes.
And would you allow yourself to open up to the joy and everyday little pleasures?
Yeah.
And what if you didn't have to be responsible? What if the necessary actions would just take place effortlessly?
That's a good point. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As often when we feel we have to be responsible, there is a kind of sense of pushing ourselves
Yeah.
and kind of a trying to keep ourselves in control. But if we are really committed to something, we don't need that pushing. It's kind of a happens. So when you think about your business now, what is there now?
There is excitement and lightness, and I'm smiling. So it's
Wonderful.
yeah, it's more lighter energy and more pleasurable energy is present. Yeah, so
Oh, that's lovely.
yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, thanks for asking. All right. So, anyone else have something to ask Dewi? Do I pronounce that right?
Dewi, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for Romana to sharing as well, because it was about the same, but my current situation. I've been overloading myself more than I can handle over the definitely last year, with catching up, doing a lot of trainings and practicing, what have you. I haven't implemented what I've learned, and I feel like something is holding me back. It's all ready or nearly ready to go, and because it's also nearly my sole source of income, I'm struggling at the moment. And what Romana said is like, it was not much fun in my life. I grew up with a mother who, good was never good enough. And even if I achieved something, it was still not, could have done better or whatever. So that kind of programming is going on in the background somewhat. And a lot of setbacks over the last 20 years. And so I've put my everything into it to get to where I am today. But there's an element of the pleasure and the fun is missing. So when Romana was working with you, it was like, what I want to give to the people I'm going to work with is the pleasure and the other thing which I haven't received myself yet. and, um, and also I haven't really charged for what I'm offering so far. And I've invested like, well, hundreds of thousands of dollars by now. So I feel like there's something about valuing myself, not giving myself enough time to enjoy life. It's been a very roller coaster ride, especially this year, since May, with another accident which set me back and 6 moves. And so it's been very confusing. So in a way, I feel like I'm asking too much of myself, because I'm still organizing myself physically and emotionally, mentally. And while I'm also needing to generate income, because at the moment I'm just hovering around the zero balance in my bank account, and that's not funny, or not fun. So I'd like to make some changes, but also because I committed myself to some courses and ongoing courses to keep myself at level and to give the best to my clients. So I feel like a bit scattered still. And my focus is on getting the financial side in place. But in order to do that, I feel like I'm needing to do things which my heart isn't really into it at the moment. So.
Right. So do you like to release on that?
Please.
Yes. Okay. So now that you've shared that story, how it has been for you, how does it make you feel this moment?
It's a mixture of anger and grief.
Yes. So could you just allow yourself to be as angry as you are?
put me in this place of stuckness.
Their stuckness?
Yeah.
So is there any wanting to change that?
Yeah, although my mind is saying there's no way it's going to change.
Yes. So could you thank the mind for its opinion, and could you let go of wanting to believe that?
Yeah, it's what's coming up is like the expectation that it's not going to change the way it's been going for all these years. It's like the belief in that the changes will be for the better and lasting. That's not there.
Yes. So when you check your life back, how often has the mind been right in its predictions?
Like nearly 100%.
Really?
Well, in terms of saying, well, it doesn't work or it won't work. So it's like the sabotaging mechanism has been.
Yeah, the mind is usually painting us pretty grim picture of the future. And what the mind is, it's showing us pictures, some stuff from the past. It's kind of taken our memories and experiences, and it's because it doesn't know the future. It doesn't have the material to build any pictures out of something it hasn't seen or experienced. So obviously it will show you something familiar. And therefore it is usually, it is grim. And the way our human brain has been developed is that we focus more easily to the negative than to the positive, because that has helped us to stay alive and stay safe. But
The stupid thing is, I know all this, and I
yes,
talk to people around, or when people come to me, I can explain it to them, and it changes their lives. But I'm stuck.
yes, 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 that happens to all of us. Yes, but that's the beauty of doing something like you are doing too, like helping others, because when you remind the others, you get to remind yourself as well. So could you welcome the belief that the change won't be for the better for you?
I think it's more about giving myself what I'm giving others, and allowing myself to actually have that freedom.
Yes. So what would happen if you gave yourself that freedom?
Feels like all the shackles and all the chains are just dropping off. Just yeah.
So could you let go of holding on to the stuckness, or what's left of that?
Yes, it feels a lot freer and lighter.
Good. And could you let go of that stuckness a little bit more?
Different energy is happening here, so softer, lighter, freer.
Good. And could you open up to that softer and freer energy?
Mm. Yeah.
And could you open up to that softer and freer energy to guiding you also in your business as well as in other areas of life?
As an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And just now it was like saying, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was more about an awareness of that I no longer welcome that or need it in my life.
Hmm. Yeah.
If I choose to.
Yes.
And it was like the mind sort of offering this meal on a little plate saying, how about this one? Saying, I'll pass. I don't know if it's helpful for other people or, but it's like, I thought it's a dialogue. And I said, well, offered me the grief on that plate and I said, how about having joy instead?
Oh, yes, that's a good dialogue. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how quickly the mind followed the instructions and saying, yeah.
Yes. Good. We don't usually we don't often remember that we could ask our mind, kind of notice the positive things or help us that way. We kind of just blindly follow what radio station is playing,
Exactly, yeah.
taking that as the only option.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, it's turning the mind instead of like a frenemy into a friend.
Yes, exactly. And it's a brilliant skill.
Love.
So what is there now?
It's like how can I describe it? A feeling of trust and knowing that when you give the right instructions of what this you want, like the happiness and joy, freedom, that your mind will follow these instructions. And so I feel like I feel good.
Good. Lovely to hear.
I'm more empowered and more in charge with being the captain of, or that I know, when you're the captain of your ship and you're if you're not clear, and the ship drifts and shipwrecks us basically. So now I feel like I'm in a safe space and happy with myself. So more at one. I'm at one, yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for asking, coming. All right. And does anyone else have something to ask or share? Ryan.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I just had a question on the feeling of, I guess, getting in the sense of like doing or things not feeling like enough as they are.
Mm-hmm.
I feel kind of sometimes not sure how to break that loop or get out of that feeling
Mm-hmm.
Of just being content. And like, I guess there's a desire to be content. And
Yes, we usually have that.
yeah.
So, are you feeling that right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, could you just welcome that feeling? The thoughts and memories and pictures, sounds that come with it?
Yes.
And if you didn't have that belief that this isn't enough, you aren't enough, what would you have instead? How would you feel?
I guess content. I guess.
Yes. So, would you be willing to let go of that belief?
Yes.
And when would you let go of that?
Now.
And how does it feel now?
A little silly. Like
No need to feel
yeah.
silly. I'm pretty sure we all do that. And but the funny thing is, like I said, I don't know if you were here already, but the mind is like a radio, and some station is playing, and we take that as the only station, and we believe what it's saying. But when the mind's radio channel says that this isn't good enough or I'm not good enough, like, where is it getting that information from? Like, it's not downloaded by some divine, judge
Yeah.
or something who would at that moment compare me to everyone everywhere and say that, okay, that's not good enough. And it
Right. Yeah.
can't compare me to into how I've been in some other time or situation, because that was another time or situation. You've never been in this moment before. So
Yeah.
how would the mind know where to compare you to? So it's a belief that we kind of have picked up growing up, but it's just a belief.
Yeah. I see that.
Mm. And sometimes just using that word, that could I let go of this belief, helps, because it points out that it is a belief and not a fact.
Yeah. That does help.
Mm.
Feel that. Yeah. The detachment of it, like not as
Yeah.
personal.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was very helpful.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for asking. Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
Yes. So, does anyone have still something to ask or share?
I just want to ask if it's any possibility of clearing any beliefs around money.
Yes. Yes. We could do that. Let's do a group release around that, because most of us have some negative beliefs about money. Yes. All right. So first, just let yourself sit back and be. And then let yourself think about money. Earning money, getting money, losing money, having to use money, wanting to use money. Any memories or expectations that brings up. And just welcome all of those pictures and sounds, feelings, sensations, thoughts and beliefs. And could you notice how the mind might be building up a story of how your life has been with money? And notice if it's telling how you have always or you have never. And just give those stories the space they need. And could you notice how personal those stories might feel? And then could you let go of wanting to take them personally? And would you let go of wanting to take them personally? And when would you do that? And then notice if those stories still feel true or meaningful, like they are telling the truth. And could you welcome your wanting to defend those stories or repeat them in your head? Tell them to your friends or family or anyone who you want to convince how money has been and acted and behaved in your life. And notice how much attachment you might have towards those stories, how you want to keep them close. And as best you can, could you let go of wanting to hold on to those stories? And would you? And when? And then could you let go of wanting to believe those stories yourself? And could you be open to a more positive story about money? And if that brings up any resistance, any doubts, any thoughts that's not realistic or possible or probable, could you just notice those thoughts? And could you allow them to just go, dissolve? And then Let yourself think about money again. And notice if there are any memories or stories of how hard it is to get money, or how hard it is to keep money, or if there are any beliefs about how you aren't good in making money, how you are good in losing money. Any stories about how money somehow avoids you, or runs away from you, or wants to run away from you once you've got hold of it. And could you notice all the sense of lack there is? The sense that the money isn't here now. And as best you can, could you let go of that feeling of lack? And then could you be open to noticing and feeling how there is money, how there is money in this moment. And if that doesn't feel true, could you just notice that? And could you be open to having money as best you can? And allow yourself to imagine having money. Lots of easy, peaceful, beautiful, well-earned money, in the sense that it's ethical and you've got it the way that feels true and good for you. And then notice if that brings up any thoughts or beliefs that you have to work hard to get money, or that no matter what you do, the money won't follow you or come to you. And would you notice how those are just beliefs based on something that did or didn't happen in the past, based on some interpretation the mind is building up? And could you allow yourself to remember that the mind doesn't know the future? So could you open up to having money and allow yourself to feel and imagine having all the money you need and want? Allow yourself to relax in the sense and feeling of abundance. And could you open up to that sense of abundance some more? And some more. And could you be open to feeling that you have enough, you have plenty, even if the mind doesn't know how that might happen? or even if the mind doesn't believe it. And could you give yourself the permission to have plenty? And would you, excuse me, give yourself permission to enjoy money, to attract money, to love money in a healthy, beautiful way? And could you grant yourself the right to use money in abundance, in a healthy, abundant way? Use the money in a way that's for yours and for everyone's highest and best good. Use the money the way that you enjoy. And if there still are any doubts or hesitation that's not possible for you, could you notice they are just what might be echoing from the mind's radio station? And would you allow that voice to drift away? And would you open up to having, to the abundance, to receiving, to giving, to having always in abundance? And would you allow yourself to just be and be and be? Good. So how was that?
Um, um, would it make sense to do releasing on the core of where your belief and your attitude is towards money and maybe something else? So because for me it's often, well, it's what happened in my childhood, and it's like this stamp feels like it's feels a bit like a mold or a vice, perhaps.
Yes. Do you have the Sedona Method book?
Mm.
You have?
Yeah.
There is the section. Thank you, Ryan. And there's a section in the wealth section where is going beyond, something like going beyond your parents' ways with money. Can't remember what it's called. It's towards the end of the book. And that is, which is exactly about how our parents used money, what was their relationship with money, how that made us feel, if there's something we have kind of are either following or trying to be the opposite of. And it's a really good release for that. We don't have time.
It's like a transgenerational thing, because when I can trace it back to my grandparents.
Yes, of course. Yes, you can do it for all the adults who've been present in your childhood. They have affected you somehow. So yes, definitely. I really recommend that release. We don't have time to go deeper on that now. We are coming to the end, but I really recommend that. That's a good.
Because I've noticed that certain things is just like a top layer of something which is going way back down into your history or your parents' history.
Yes, they do. It's well, on one hand, it's really beneficial to do those. Then on another hand, it's really beneficial just to release how you feel this moment. As it's kind of like Sedona Method doesn't encourage us to dive too deep into the past, so that we would kind of dig in and dig in and dig in. But if it feels you kind of notice that's what's coming up, then I would recommend you go through that release and see what comes up from that.
It's just what occurred just now to me is if you are able to release, like, it's more like an energetic pattern, which is the family tree. If that would, I don't know whether an release technique is geared to that or is tapping into that, because I mean, I've done a lot of releasing on this particular issue, but it keeps on coming back, and I feel like what the release just now sort of pointed me towards my grandparents.
Yes, you can, if they come up, you can do it directly from about your grandparents and see where that leads you. Yeah. Very good. And yeah, I recommend that to everyone who recognizes that type of thinking or beliefs or behavior. But yes, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure as always. Thanks for coming. And the next, my next free support call is on 17th of December. So I will be putting this recording to YouTube. Hopefully today. If not today, then tomorrow. So thank you very much, and I wish you a lovely evening and week.
Thank you so much, Katja.
Thank you.